The match was fortunately took place in London. They were both matches played together in the same hall, played on alternative days. A Great Eastern Hotel near Liverpool Station. I started very poorly. I lost. First game was white. In my favorite openings in Petrosian, Queen's Indian, Korchnoi just played a new move, flanking his bishop, his dark square bishop. And while I didn't have to lose, so just I missed a number of chances to equalize after a very poor opening. But the pressure was probably too high. That's what Korchnoi expected, and it was a devastating loss. So losing with white in the first game, in 12 games match against such an experienced player, Korchnoi, that was a challenge. That was a challenge, and also we knew that Korchnoi never lost any match when he took a lead. And Evgeny Vladimirovich just pointed out that everything happens first time. I played my Taurus defense. I was relying on it, so I faced Korchnoi's opening preparation in game 2, and not that I had great difficulties with black. So game 2 I survived. Game 4 I played against Catalan and it was okay, but I couldn't find my game was white, so it was an easy draw in game 3 and also Queen's Indian. In game 5 I tried Catalan, first time in my life, but got slightly better position, but quickly ended up in a draw. So after 5 games, I used my timeout already. I was down 3-2. No win in the side, and then game 6 came on, and Korchnoi pressed hard. He played very, very good game. So very creative opening. So. Weakening my position in the Taurus defense, and at one point, after I missed a couple of moments to equalize, so Korchnoi created a very strong pressure, and black was not losing, but it was very unpleasant. And suddenly Korchnoi decided to gain some material, and which gave me excellent counter chances. I took an initiative. Then I missed my winning chances. The game was adjourned. It had to be a draw, but after a long fight, Korchnoi, probably being exhausted, made a decisive mistake in quite a simple end game. So suddenly I equalized. Not I didn't expect, but game 6, especially the beginning of the game, didn't offer me much of a hope. And when the game was adjourned, I also thought it would be a draw, but at the end, so we left tournament hall, and the score was 3-3. And next day, I played white. Korchnoi didn't take a timeout, and less than 24 hours later, we had to start playing a game, and of course, I was much more enthusiastic. I played the Catalan again, and Korchnoi surprised me with a new move, so Bishop D7. It was played before, but definitely it was a very creative choice, and I wasn't sure what to do here, so I understood that probably knight e5 was the sort of most natural continuation, knight e5, bishop c6, and take on c6, and castle. So that's rook d83. So, for instance, or no, queen d7 probably. Just black is more natural. Queen d7, e3. That would be something that gives white nice initiative. So queen e2, b5, and b3. But not being very comfortable in entering this unknown position, so I played quietly queen c2, and of course after c5 it's no longer promising for white, so probably queen takes c4 was a better move. Actually it would transpose to game 8 when we played the same position with reverse colors. So and Korchnoi took on c5 here. I made a castle, which is a very odd move. Bishop c6 now took on c4, knight bd7, and black has a very comfortable game. Yeah, it's they have no problem, and I would even think that black could start thinking about and taking initiative. So I tried to simplify the position. Bishop d5, rook c8. cd4 was also perfectly safe. Bishop takes f6, knight takes f6. Korchnoi took with a knight on f6 because I think he just wanted to also to simplify it, and he thought that it would be a quick draw. But black actually could consider both captures. G takes f6, which I recommended as the sharpest move, but also queen takes f6, and after knight c3, bishop e7, and black has two bishops, and bishops are very, very comfortable game. Very comfortable game. I think that white has to be very cautious here, just to make sure that they can equalize. So knight f6 should be criticized. Also, the game is still roughly even. dc5, and now Korchnoi took on f3 and took on c5. I think he just simply expected that the game would be a draw. So it's symmetrical. Queen d5, queen d7, knight c3, and he took on b5 and played king d7. The game is still even, but here I found a move that was praised by Petrosian, I remember, who said it's like finding water in the desert, so a fountain, a hidden stream in the desert. And I think that Korchnoi collapsed because he didn't expect that the game would last long. So okay, just a few more moves, draw. Probably he expected something like rook ac1, and then black has choice to go bishop b6 or knight d5. And in both cases, the game would be a draw. So before, while it's not offering white any serious advantage, but it just took Korchnoi completely off the comfort zone. And just let's not forget that he 48 hours ago he was leading, and then in game 6 he was quite close, as he thought, to winning in the second game, and which could decide the match. And then he lost this game during the adjournments, missing an easy draw, and now suddenly he had to solve some unpleasant problems. And when you add up all these factors, it just it's not surprising that the mistake was quickly made. After bishop b4, knight a7, Korchnoi played rook c7, which is a serious mistake. Rook a8 was the best move, and as you can see, it would lead to a draw. So after rook c7, rook c1, suddenly, black discovered that they couldn't protect this pawn on b7, so the pawn will be lost. So after rook d7, white played rook ab1. So the best defense was still to take on c1, and trying to save this endgame. Well, also I think it's lost. But that was a better shot. So if we look objectively for chances, because after rook d7, rook ab1, bishop b2, rook c2, so black is losing the pawn, and they couldn't restore coordination of the pieces. And I played very comfortably and very convincingly. So I just took the pawn, and while Korchnoi tried hard to complicate things, I managed to keep everything under control. So and eventually a pawn moved forward, and white played bishop a8, repeated moves, and then played rook c4. So again, very important move. Knight e7, knight e5. So black failed to restore coordination of the pieces, and I kept pressing on the queen side, making sure that a pawn eventually will move, and it did. So it did. So black managed to exchange rooks and knights. And normally the opposite square bishops they give chance, but not in this position because pawn is too far away, and black has to give up another pawn on the queen on the king side. Otherwise, a pawn would be advancing. But even this, didn't work out. So Korchnoi resigned, and I suddenly I found myself in the lead. And after surviving game 8 under some pressure in the end game, I crushed Korchnoi in game 9, and that was it. So game 10 was very tense battle. It was a draw, and I won game 11, and amazingly it was 7-4. And as with Beliavsky, the scores was very deceiving, but even more deceiving. 7-4 looks like a convincing victory. If one doesn't remember that after game 5 I was trailing down a point. So winning 7-4 against Korchnoi, especially with such a powerful finish, by scoring 5 out of last 6 games. So just scoring 4 victories in the last 6 games definitely gave me confidence and definitely sent a message to Karpov. Because that time it was not Beliavsky who was defeated, but man with the huge experience in the matches, especially in the short matches, in candidate matches, and also the quality of my chess dramatically improved. I showed not only extra resilience in difficult positions, but also an appetite to play relatively simple positions, end games, and that made my chess more balanced, which was very important before facing Karpov. But of course, to face Karpov, I had to win the final match, and that was Vasily Smyslov. So, who, to surprise of many, beat quite handily Zoltan Ribli, 6.5, 4.5, at the same stage as where I played with Korchnoi. And when we played the match, Smyslov was 3 times older, 62. He was turning 63, while I was just turning 21. So it was a phenomenal accomplishment, but I had no doubt that this match would not be as difficult as match with Korchnoi. But still, it was a final match, 16 games, and I needed to beat Smyslov before earning rights to challenge Anatoly Karpov for the world title.